Do you feel like you might be living on a farm? Lord knows. Some days it's just busy, and other days you're like, so are the days of our lives in COVID. Ooh, has anybody done a parody? I would be so interested to know the days of our lives in COVID. Super interesting. Currently have not been watching said soap opera, even though that is one that I do enjoy. Yeah, I like the stories. That one at least. But nonetheless, I got out of the habit because of when work existed. Oh, hello. I'm Ginger. Welcome to the podcast of Grief and Potluck. Ta-da! You're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to talk about Pinterest. Now, if you're just listening, no stress. I'll be talking a lot, so you'll hear what we're seeing. No worries. Also, because some people are visual learners, some people are auditory learners. I get it. We have all kinds. For Grief and Potluck in the near future, there will be a lot more that it's just audio. So we're there. But I don't want to do a disservice to those who have to turn on the closed captioning as well as like to see visual aids. So opportunity knocks. I'm going to listen. You tell me all of the above, just the one way. Roll, roll, roll. Ooh la la. I have choices. It's a miracle. We live in America. La la la. So, without further ado, enough of me and my cute no haircut. Oh yeah. It used to not be a hassle to go to the hairdresser. Now it is. I am going to open up the windows of the world any day now. Any day now, window of the world. You are going to show yourself. Show thyself to be true. I'm going to turn that one off and open that up. Okay. Naturally, this is when it wants to not work. Technical difficulties. Apologies about that. Let's see if we can fix that. Because here we go. I'm going to disappear again. No stress. You're supposed to see the window that I have captured, but it is not capturing, which means I have to push pause and get tech support. So, why this didn't work? I don't know. It worked a minute ago. It really did. I disappear again. No. You stay as you are. Oh, I am not stopping now. All right, soups. So here we are. Where everything else went, it's okay. What matters is that you see what I want you to see, which is now the Pinterest page. So if you have not visited the website connected to the podcast of Grief and Potluck, please venture over to the website, which is www, yep, 3 W's, celebrationsoflifemagazine.com. Ta-da! And there you will see links, Insty, Penty, and Facey. That's fun. I think I just nicknamed them. Insty, Pensty, Penty, and Facey. Oh! I want to call them my sisters. My sisters. Insty. Yes, I'm having more fun than one person should have talking out loud in a room by themselves. Insty, Penty, and Facey. Okay, we're going to try to remember that. 'Cause them's my sisters. That's how I'm putting it out to the world. Because sadly, I had one and she died. That sister, that is. So, but nonetheless, estrangement comes and estrangement goes. Yep. You might think I'm cold, but don't. Please don't. You don't know the relationship. That's okay. We had one when we were younger. It worked out well then. We didn't need one when we were older. It's okay. We move on. So, grief and potluck. Ooh, the inspiration. Yep, yep, yep. Fun times, fun times. So here we are, the podcast. Coming soon. Will be in the November issue of the aforementioned website / ways to find it. Here is the podcast. So, hey, you're ahead of the game. You have found it. Now, on to Pinty. Pinty. Beautiful thing that you are. No, I am not being sponsored, so please don't assume. I don't want to edit my home feed right now. How do I make that go away? No idea. All right. Wait. Maybe if one clicks and links and suckers in over here, if I don't have to sign in again, that'll be great. Okay. So on Pinterest, underneath the turret, that's a Freudian slip, the turret of our times. When dealing with podcast, grief, and potluck, there will be a new board. Ooh, I'm so excited about this. So, let me find it. Let me create it. We'll start there. All right, so we'll come back to this moment. Grief and potluck. Yes, I will be showcasing a cute little logo. But see, like when you talk about grief or potluck, when it comes to Pinterest, just typed it in, you get a bunch of like recipes, dishes, ideas, recipes for crowds, side dishes. Let's go recipes for crowds because essentially we are hoping to assist people. Quaker, prize winning recipe. You know what? You will start us. I didn't want us to do that. Oops, forgot to click the right button. My bad. So, create board. The board is grief, RIEF, and potluck podcast. Oh, you're seeing it here first, folks. There she is. There she is. The cute little board I've created. Yes, it's a she. So, however you want to feel about that, it's your opinion. Have it. Merry Christmas. We live in America. So, not to limit the joys of people. Ugh, there it is again. In other countries. I welcome you. Welcome, welcome. I know I have some beautiful people from Brazil, some various ones over in the UK. Occasionally, oh Lord, I need a world map. Where am I? Don't know. Where am I in the world at large? Yes. Zoom in. Ugh, click to hover. Okay. Hover. Click to zoom. There we go. So fickle, this one. All right. Sorry about that. So, world map, round 2. Try again. Oh, this one looks better. All right. Cost, don't care. Just want to see one. And enlarge my heart. There we are. Aren't you beautiful? Super duper. Now, we can carry on. All right. So, Canada and the United States, of course, because we're here. Thank you. A few people down south. Like I said, Brazil. Have you been to Brazil? I mean, honestly, Carnival. You guys have got it. down. All right. Now, when we slide, oops, don't ask to slide over. It's not going to happen. So Europe, hooray. Got a few people in Africa that have checked us out, as well as map goes up and down and not sideways. Well, that's dizzying. Sorry for that. All right, so I know there's some people over here in the Philippines and on the other side of India. All right, we'll prepare better next time for a map. I apologize. So, grief and potluck. Onwards and upwards. So, this inspiration I mentioned in the introduction podcast, which also has a video clip. So if you like to watch, there it is. If you just like to listen, it exists in just audio as well, aka don't watch. So, woo. Also, shout out to my intro, which is done by one Tony Venturini, and you can find his songs on bandcamp.com. Again, that's bandcamp.com. And that particular song was called The Day My Luck Ran Out. It's quite a fun song, and I like humor, as you can see. I just have to figure out how to store that somewhere on the phone. So, ta-da! Fun intro, grief and potluck. It's not all wallowing in the mud because you just can't. You just can't be sad all the time. Which brings me to the unfortunate awareness that we are in a state of 2020, nearing the fall, and still dealing with this virus now. Sicknesses that we currently understand are also viruses, and so viruses affect us all very differently. So I am very sad to say that some of you out there listening have probably lost a loved one, and that is heart-wrenching, and I get it. It's not something you plan for. It's not something you want to think about. It's not something you want to focus on necessarily, but I want you to understand that you are not alone, and that at Celebrations of Life magazine and here at the podcast of Grief and Potluck, we want you to know we're here for you. So we're here to celebrate you, the living, as well as celebrating the life you leave behind, as well as celebrating those who have passed on before us. So part of the point, not part of the point of Celebrations of Life magazine, Grief and Potluck podcast is to make the end of life a celebration, creating safe conversations around death and dying, learning about all things funerary, such as, but not limited to, cultures, history, fashion, flowers, types of funerals, food, art, and more. So September was a really interesting month for me. Prior to putting September's issue together, I was able to speak to a lovely lady out of Sweden, and she very much assisted in conversations around our Swedish issue, which is no longer posted because that was for September's issue, but you can find it on the YouTube channel very easily. If I'm on the right channel to sign in. Hooray. Here we are. So for the YouTube channel, it is called Celebrations. Everything's plural on Celebrations. Always an S. Of Life. You will see the different issues. And so therefore, ta-da! October issue is up. And we've also done some wild and wacky things with Supper Club, and as aforementioned, September issue part 1 is about Sweden. And as I mentioned, I was very fortunate to speak with, no, I didn't plan to click here, so hence I am not prepared with a name. But her name was Anne Gunderson. Technically, that is how you say it. And if I'm wrong, you can look it up, because there are places where I show you, you can click links, etc., etc. So, Mrs. Gunderson was kind enough to speak to us about Sweden and their death culture, and there are some interesting things that they do there we do not do here. So, on that topic, there will be other conversations about other countries. So, upcoming, I have India for November, and part of that is the Hindu culture and how they treat their widows, which, it's different. So, and then this particular sandwich, oh my goodness. It's one of those layered things that you might find at a tea party. Yeah, so it's like bread, egg salad, bread, salmon, spread, bread, mayonnaise. Oh yeah, or maybe cream cheese. It can all vary. There are some of those on Pinterest under the Easy Food Creations. Oh, check it out. So, I am a huge fan of charcuterie boards. So, I'm going to slow down. My bad. I didn't realize how fast I was going. It's not polite. Um, Scroll back up to a charcuterie board. Charcuterie. Again, however you say it, please feel free to let me know. So we've got here a delicious charcuterie board of fruits. Oh yeah, it's not just meats and cheeses anymore. People have taken this next level, which is super exciting if I do say so myself. So, that said, on this charcuterie board, we have got watermelon, we've got raspberries, we've got apples, we've got strawberries, and why not zoom in, Ginger? I know how to click a button. I do. Um, Apparently this was contributed by Thrive Magazine. Hooray. And apparently plums. So all things a bit red for that. So that would be a good one to do if the person liked red. That would be a fun, I'm going to call it a charcuterie board. They called it a red platter. So, and especially if you've got vegetarians these days, coming out of the woodwork, you've got to have some fruits for them. So that was cherries, raspberries, strawberries, apples, plums, and watermelon. Super delicious looking, if I do say so myself. Now, next door, hello, chocolate. Hello. Yeah, I sing when there's chocolate around. Um, we've got those pierros. I don't know how to say that word, but they're swirly sticks that come in cans, and they're usually more popular around the holiday season than any other time. You've got the delicious, who are those cookie people? The fancy, nice cookies? Milano style cookies. Them people, the farm people. Pepe Farm. All right. And then we've got chocolate covered pretzels, chocolate covered cherries, nuts. I mean, flippin' delicious looking. If you haven't checked out the Pinterest page, I highly recommend you just check out Pinterest. You could be here for hours. Yeah. It's a good distraction. So, gonna be honest, distractions aren't painful. Sometimes they are helpful. So, in this case, for my personal self, I have another Pinterest board, but for celebrations of life and for grief and potluck, I have a Pinterest because why not? I mean, I need ideas. Don't you need ideas? I mean, if I've got to throw a dinner party together or I've had a death in the family and I need an idea of what am I taking these people, well, here you go. Cheese and crackers. That's not complicated at all. That's stupid and simple, you say? Well, that's your opinion and you're entitled to it. But I know for a fact that Carr's crackers, Ritz crackers, cheddar cheese, Munster cheese, Swiss cheese, I'm not a big fan of, but that's just me. Um, cheese, you know, it brings comfort. It's a comfort type of food. So you can just pretty up the dish with some grapes. Look at that. Grapes, strawberries, a little parsley tucked in here and there. It's just pretty. Don't deny yourself a little pretty. Okay? So when all else fails and you've got to set out food for the fact that somebody in your family passed away, or you got to make a, oh my gosh, I just learned this, mad dash. That's the mad dash right there. Cheese and crackers, I'm telling you what. And if you sent me that or you gave me that, it wouldn't upset me at all. And if you send that to somebody and it upsets them, you let me know and I'll just let them know what for because that's considerate. I don't care who you are. Now, moving on to there's vegetables, there's oh, the keto stuff. Yeah, well, what can we do about that? So you got olives, you got a little salami, you got a little mozzarella, you got a little tomato, and I'm gonna assume that's prosciutto, possibly salmon. Don't know for sure. And then you got it surrounded by cucumbers, the addition of radish. Don't overthink it. Here we go. Here we go. Here is the sandwich cake. This all leads me to the beautiful sandwich cake. So the beautiful sandwich cake, like you, over here, Ginger, like you saw here, was in the Swedish article, and I kept seeing it, and I want to make one. I'm lazy, and I haven't made one yet, sadly, but I want to make one because look at that. How delicious. I mean, honestly, all you got to do bread, meat, mayonnaise, mayonnaise. It's a friend. Eggs, if you don't like eggs, don't put eggs on it. Cheese. So it's literally just a layer, and that's the name of it. Yep, you figured that out. Smorgastarta. Smorgastarta cake. Okay. So I'm not on Encyclopedia Britannica to fix my language, so we'll just figure it out later. But it's fine. It is what it is. Look at that. It looks like little ham roses. You can put, oh, that's corn. That's super cute. That is super cute. Corn with a little bit of whatever that green garnish is. Carrot. It could be carrot. It could be a carrot garnish. I think I said that 5 times. Sorry. It's carrot. It's carrot. Oh my. Okay, it's carrot. No stress. Whatever green garnish could even be rosemary if you needed it, but that is not rosemary, but it is a pretty green garnish. It's not just a stem out of your backyard. It's been washed, you know. So what they've done here is they've layered surrounding the bottom of the sandwich cake with green olives and sliced in half cherry tomatoes. Now, if that sounds dangerous to slice a cherry tomato in half, please don't make the effort. That's all I'm saying. Just put the whole cherry tomato down there and, you know, obviously if they have kids, they're going to pay attention that they don't swallow these things whole. But if you're super want to be cautious because maybe they have a baby, sure, slice them in half. Please be my guest. Just don't say I encouraged you to hurt yourself. Okay? Okay. So it looks like we've got bread. We've got a couple layers of ham. We've definitely got some mayo going on here. Some more bread. And then some kind of, I want to say that's a slaw mixture because there is not a detail of what this is officially. Now, it is, however, a cool flour made out of corn. Yep, you heard me right. So basically, it is 3, 6, 9, about 12 pieces of corn surrounding a thinner slice of cherry tomato. And again, if it bothers you to slice a cherry tomato just in half, let alone in whole, stick the whole thing in the middle, okay? People are just going to be impressed you did it this much. That's fancy. Okay? Okay. No stress. So, surrounding the cherry tomato sliced middle, kind of looks like a face, doesn't it? You got two eyes, a mouth, little nose, hilarious. You have the corn, like literal pieces of corn. You were to crack open a can of corn, drain it, and then lay down the corn. The corn circles the cherry tomato. Fancy, fun, easy peasy. Now, yeah, here I hear it. I hear it in the background. It's not that fancy. Well, everybody has various versions of fancy. We don't all afford fancy. We afford the fancy that we afford. Now, here is another example of this beautiful cake, torta. And around the border, because now this one's round. I'm sorry, the other one was rectangular. But whatever fits, whatever works, whatever you got. Because you're pretty much pressing it into the mold and you're dumping it back out. And then you're icing it like a cake because essentially you're treating it like a cake with the bread layers, the mayonnaise layers, the egg salad layers, the ham salad layers, the whatever salad layers. I mean, you could treat it like a lox bagel. You could do smoked salmon. Then you could do the cream cheese and you could do the capers. I would appreciate that too. Just going to be honest. Then you could do the tomatoes. So on this particular cake, we have a beautiful round cake with the green grass, which I assume is not real grass from the outdoors again. I'm going to say it's probably like some kind of green grass like you see in the produce section now that's growing straight up and people add in their salads or snip into their salads. So it's like a green grass, but they've layered it fairly singularly around the cake. And then on the outer layer is half sliced cherry tomatoes. Here we go with the cherry tomatoes again. Do not be frightened about cutting a cherry tomato. If it does frighten you, don't cut it. Skip the cherry tomato altogether. And then in the middle, making its own circle debut, are deviled eggs. Yes, or in the South, depending on where you live, you may not use that term, deviled eggs. You may use the term boiled eggs. You heard me right. Boiled eggs. So, what they've done is they've basically quartered or sliced into fourths these boiled eggs. Now, I digress and I'm going backwards. So, you can make individual ones. You can make it, oh, look at this one, even simpler. You can drill a hole. Would that not be funny to watch? In a baguette, and you can make yes, that's Swedish or Nordic language, so I will not read it out loud. Excuse me. But you can drill out a hole in a baguette and you can stuff it with the pre-made delicious stuffing and then refrigerate that for a little bit, it looks like, and then slice it up. Ooh, so good. Well, I would take it to whoever you're giving it to and let them slice it up then for their celebration of life party. So, that's delicious. Now, back to, so that's under easy food creations, easy to find. Now, under grief and potluck, did I say that? Oh, that's what they do, all pens. All right. Under, I'm sorry, my voice is going for a moment. No, I can't push pause on this. So, unedited versions of me. Right. Here we go. Grief and potluck. So, oh, we're on a meatloaf page. That's a lot of meatloaf. I really don't want to look at your Halloween costumes right now. Thank you very much. Today. All right. So, under grief and potluck, we're going to add some inspirational pins, but I'm going to get back to that. I'm going to let you send me some ideas. And how you do that is you go over to, well, essentially what you do is you click on, let's say, you click on the picture, you click on this arrow thing to the left where you normally would save it. So on the left-hand side, next to the words of your boards and save it, there is send this pin. WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, email. Oi, no. And then you can click the link, or if whoever you got. Currently, I've got an author, a cake person, etc. And then you can send that to them, and it shows up over here in their email feed. Ta-da! And you've sent them something. So other conversations to be had regarding Pinterest, because that's where we're at today on today's grief and potluck Pinterest page. Is under Celebrations of Life magazine. So if you go to the www.celebrationsoflifemagazine.com, you will see the Pinty. So Pinty is where we have a lot of great pins, and again, for inspiration. So to briefly, because I know time is precious, to briefly go through the different boards, I'll just name a few. I've got like single flower big impact, because sometimes we can't always afford major flower arrangements. I know people provide them too, but some people are in lieu of flowers these days. You can also display the collection, so that board is called Collections on Display. Some people have collected things. I have a grandmom who collects owls. Holy cow, does she collect owls? So lots of owls, which probably will be a thing that might be given away at her funeral. I do not know. Or we could call it her celebration of life, however you want to call it. Unique celebration send-offs. I don't have a lot of pins under here, but I am super excited. Super excited. I can't speak English, but I speak ginger. That's what I speak. I speak ginger. So I'm super excited to share that under unique celebration send-offs, it may look like it's for a wedding, but it's for a funeral. Because celebrations of life, it's a celebration of life. Yep. Some things look similar, some things look different. It's all good. Now, I also have sips. Yep, you can interpret that for yourself. It's some alcoholic drinks. There will also be non-alcoholic drinks. Don't judge me. It's not fair. I have a podcast. I'm working my hardest to make you happy. That sounded judgy on my part. My bad. Now, the other fun things we have are fashion. Oh, yes. The mistress wore what? Question mark. Because, in all those movies, we see that there's usually a mistress. And she shows up to the funeral. And what does she do? She's wearing a red, tight, slinky dress. Well, you can go there for yourself and see the different humorous things of what the mistress wore. It's just my interpretation, and it's purely pinning, so hey. Now, the other thing we do discuss upcoming in November is kids and funerals. So there they are. That pin is called Kids and Funerals. I've got all kinds of things under kids and funerals, between ways to make their snacks look interesting, ways to upcycle their toys, ways to help them cope with grief and loss, which we will be exploring more so in the November issue of the magazine, as well as little crafts, just fun ways to make their food, different ways that they can interact with nature. Because if you haven't already seen that YouTube video, it's super important you take a step out into nature, because nature is what basically clears our minds and grounds us. Okay? So there's different things there for that particular board that I am particularly proud of. And then we have candle displays. Some people want to do that. Then we have celebrating a loved one. So there's different ways of going about that. I don't know why that board is locked. I'm going to fix that right now. Is this a secret board? Why is this a secret board? Unsecret this board. Okay, I'll figure that out shortly. But then we have architecture of death. Now, architecture of death is essentially just that. So you'll be seeing some monuments, you'll be seeing some grave sites, some interesting people paid some really interesting price points for their monuments. Some people got it for the fact of who they were in history, but there's some really cool stuff out there. So that will be added to over time. Now, the other thing I want to point out is guests want to help. So if you're having a funeral, please, again, you are not alone. People want to help you. People want something to do because it's their way of expressing the love they had for the person who passed away. It's their way of expressing the love they have for you, helping you get through this time. Because they don't know what to do sometimes. They just don't know what to say. So give them something to do. More helpful. They can go buy you some toilet paper, make a list of what you need. As Tavana says in the article, she's given me another article this upcoming month, so you'll see another article by her. But, people keep asking, what do you want? What do you need? Well, make a list. Toilet paper is not beyond them to go get. It's going to happen. So, what board am I on? Oh, yes. Guests want to help, let them. So, there's lots of little food snack things they can cut. I know, I'm all about the cutting. It's not dangerous. Oh no, it's not like you're giving it to a 5-year-old. So, there's a breakfast charcuterie board. There's, just crudité, the vegetables, the easy peasy. Oh, look at this. Ultimate bacon mac and cheese Ritz Witch. I don't know about you, Ritz, but that is tempting. So, not sponsored, just sharing. Okay, so lots to do here. Again, more things to be added. Also in November, we're going to talk about pets. The topic of the board is Pets Up in Heaven. The topic in November's issue will be helping you grieve the loss of your pet. Really lots of good stuff out there. I'm so thrilled of the articles that I have been gifted, as well as the articles forthcoming. So please note, you will not just be shoved some random diatribe. Oh yeah, your pet died. Oh no, I'm all about the pet. I have fur babies. Currently have a fur baby. So I get it. I've had fur babies. I understand the love they give, the loss you feel, and even not feeling ready for the next one, which personally I thought, what's wrong with me? But no, nothing's wrong with you. It's a fact of life. Sometimes you're just not ready to move on to another pet. Some people can go out same day, get another pet. It's everybody is different. We all grieve differently too, so please keep that in mind as well. All right, we're running into 40 minutes here, so let me wrap this up. So we've got the Celebrations of Life magazine.com board. Why not? Funerary flower ideas. Some people really want some madcap, crazy, fun flowers. Go for it. I'd go for it. There's a feelings board. Not a lot of feelings on there yet. Give me some ideas. Again, if you haven't discovered Pinterest, please go to the website www.celebrationsoflifemagazine.com and check us out. There's links to Pinterest, there's links to the Facebook, and there's links to Instagram. But for now, our topic is Pinterest. So I'm going to say, come visit Pinty. She is here for you. You can see the death culture around the globe. That's another page. Also, cards of sympathy. So ideas if you haven't got out to the Dollar Tree or the Hallmark. And let me tell you, sometimes the card does not have to look elaborate, be elaborate to get the message across. Something simple, okay? Keep it simple. Yeah, you know that saying. Then for fun, because I told you I'm not all like doom, gloom, sad. It's just not my nature. The Inappropriate Funeral. So, inspiration for Inappropriate Funeral was this adorable snakeskin leggings that I said, oh, Grandma might not be happy if you wore this to her final resting place. LOL. So, talk about inspiration, right? Snake print leggings. Now, we are going into fall, so it's not inappropriate to wear snake print leggings with per se a solid top. However, I would say it may not be appropriate to wear to a funeral. So, there's also some more fun, quirky things that you probably wouldn't wear to a funeral. So, inappropriate funeral fashion. If you haven't visited the website, I do a fun video called Loud Fashion so that you can see some ideas of what to wear, what not to wear to a funeral. Clearly, again, it is to give you a laugh, but some of it's facts. So, fun, fun, fun. So currently, I am blessed with 1 follower, 3 following. I'm following 3 and I have 1 follower. Maybe that's what that means. But either way, the Pinterest page is pinterest.com/celebrations of life magazine. There we go. Again, you can find this on the www.celebrationsoflifemagazine.com website. Zootaloo, there she is. And so this has been an issue of podcast for Grief and Potluck. I know, usually people say it reverse. The Grief and Potluck podcast. I'm not normal some days, so that's okay for me. So this podcast has been brought to you by www.celebrationsoflifemagazine.com. This podcast is called Grief and Potluck. The topic was Pinterest. I really appreciate you stopping by, and I sincerely look forward to hosting you again very soon. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, excellent day.